Welcome to the third hour of VH1's 100 Greatest Women of Rock and Roll. Hi, I'm Juliana Margulies. There's been a lot of debate about gender wars in rock and roll. Does rock belong to men? Is it being taken over by women? The fact is that women have always been an integral part of rock and roll. They've written it, played it, sung it, danced it, and put their stamp on it from the very start. Tonight we honor 20 more of the finest. Before we get started, take a look at the remarkable women we've already seen. She scored more than 20 top 10 R&B hits. And as far as ex-husbands, well, she won't tell exactly how many of those she has.
Oh, girl, go on and sing.
That I will. Every time it rains,
Her nickname
I think of you.
was Miss Rhythm.
And that time, I feel so blue.
I loved her voice, and I liked the way she did. She was my idol. You know, she was a woman, but she was my idol.
Oh, the sun is shining. There's no summer sky. And it's raining. Teardrops from my eyes.
As the biggest R&B star of the 50s, Ruth Brown scored so many hits for Atlantic Records, the label came to be known as the house that Ruth built.
Mama, he treats your daughter mean.
I just think she's historically so significant. Just the times that she grew up and to be a revolutionary woman that wasn't going to put up with that segregation and to be her own boss, that wasn't done before then. She's just the bridge between the first half of the century and the second half.
Despite her success, Ruth was left with no royalties and had to work as a maid. Today, the legendary singer is a crusader for R&B artists who never got their fair share.
There wouldn't be strong women in music if it wasn't for Ruth Brown.
Ruth Brown is also a Tony Award-winning actress, and she starred in John Waters' 1988 film Hairspray as Motormouth Maybelle. The artist, at number 59, also has roots in the theater. She began her career in the London production of Hair.
Her mother pawned 2 old baby carriages to buy her first guitar. Joan Armatrading became the first black female singer-songwriter to compete in the white pop market. I am not in love, but I'm open to persuasion. Born in the West Indies and raised in England, Armatrading's unique take on folk music included bits of soul, reggae, and jazz.
One of my girlfriends said, "You've got to listen to this record, it's incredible." And I think it was Love and Affection. And she's just got this beautiful voice that sounds like velvet and chocolate.
Why do you come here when you know I've got troubles enough?
Her simplicity is very becoming. It's not a lot of frills and orchestrations. I mean, she simply has her guitar and her voice.
I so strong, was all the weakness in me. Why do you come here?
Throughout 3 decades of recording, Joan has remained one of the most critically acclaimed singer-songwriters in the industry.
But I mean to sing, and I mean to hold you tight.
This next woman took America by storm with her debut album, She's So Unusual, and instantly became one of the wildest icons of the 80s.
She burst onto MTV with her ragamuffin style and off-the-wall independent spirit. Cyndi Lauper's colorful brand of pop marked the 80s with humor and rebellion. But beneath it all was a very serious and gifted songwriter. One who sang tales of heartbreak and loss in her own unusual way.
I thought she was great. She has an incredible voice and very unique, you know.
Cyndi Lauper is a very good musician, and she is a kind of a feminist heroine. The girls just want to have fun as a feminist anthem because it's saying that you don't have to conform, and she says that. She sets us free.
I think sisterhood is powerful, and it's good to finally embrace your sisters. I think we did something in the world for women, just for a minute.
Cyndi first rose to fame with World Wrestling Federation star Captain Lou Albano as her sidekick. This next artist rose to fame in a more conventional fashion, with her family by her side.
Her rich, sensuous voice helped define modern R&B. Mavis Staples began her career fronting the legendary family gospel group, the Staples Singers. Together with two of her siblings and her father, they created a unique sound that was at once both sacred and secular.
There's certain singers, especially gospel singers, that if I'm feeling disappointed and down, I just put on Mavis Staples and it goes away.
The Staples Singers were a big influence on the band. In the beginning, they only sang gospel music. And then they started to sing songs that were not just gospel-oriented, but conscientious, like Respect Yourself.
On her own, Mavis remains a musical mainstay, collaborating with artists ranging from Bonnie Raitt to Al Green.
When singer Mary Wells failed to show up for a recording session in 1961, the lead singer of the next act was yanked from the Motown secretarial pool to fill in. The record became this group's first hit.
She came in as secretary and went out a star. By the early 1960s, Martha Reeves was the frontwoman of one of Motown's most successful girl groups. The impassioned vocals and trademark dance rhythms of Martha and the Vandellas captured the Motown sound at its most exciting.
I like their songs a lot. They were great pump songs that made you want to dance.
She just had a real soulful voice, and with that whole wild Motown drum and guitar thing going on behind her, and with the Vandellas singing, it rocked my white bread world.
Martha and the Vandellas have cemented their place in music history as pioneers of the original Motown sound.
Dancing in the Street was cited for invoking riots and banned from several radio stations in its day. Our next artist has yet to have her material banned, but its raw, explicit content has made her one of the cornerstones of 90s alternative rock.
She grew up on a sheep farm in England. listening to Captain Beefheart records. By the early 90s, Polly Jean Harvey was the undisputed diva of alternative rock.
I lost my heart under the bridge.
She's got a beautiful, raw vulnerability to her voice and this intense sexual energy that's not confident. And I thought that album, To Bring You My Love, whoa, I thought that was a masterpiece.
Polly Harvey, I think she might be the only other person in rock and roll who's as shy as I am. And it's so painfully obvious in her work. But I think her work is really phenomenal.
Her and that band are just wicked. She's just someone I look forward to when a record comes out. I'm on it.
With her dark bluesy style and sense of theatrics, PJ sealed her position as one of the most disturbing, fascinating, and visionary artists to emerge from the 90s.
In the late 80s, this next artist paved the way for a new era of young singer-songwriters.
Social and emotional heart of America, Tracy Chapman established herself as a modern-day folk hero.
I was gonna fight, yeah. I said I ain't been knocked down yet. There ain't no man, no woman, no beast alive that can beat me, 'cause I'm fortified.
She's got the light. It's an inspiration. She's carrying it. She's the only one that's got it right now.
She came on the scene and it was so fresh.
Yes, I told her that I love you.
Such a lovely voice.
And there ain't no more to say.
It's not my image. It's not what I wear. For me, the music has always been what's important.
The artist at number 53 began her career as a teen dance pop singer in her native Canada. But when she reintroduced herself to the music industry in 1995, rock and roll found its new heroine.
I want you to know that I'm happy for you.
She was one of the biggest and most unlikely superstars of the 90s. Former child star Alanis Morissette transformed herself into an artist who was totally in command, yet stripped of artifice.
I know the version of me. Is she perverted like me? Would she go down on you in a theater?
With her powerful voice and fearless persona, Alanis ushered in the next wave of female expression in rock.
Women are expected to always be nice and polite and say the right thing, and she just didn't. She got to be the bad girl for the rest of us.
Good lyrics, good singing, good music, good songs.
It's like rain.
Alanis, her record just sold so well, and she did so well, and it took everybody by surprise.
I like Alanis. Her freedom. There's a sense of tremendous honesty, like take it or leave it. I like that.
How about getting off of these antibiotics?
I think there's advantages to being a woman in the music scene and advantages to being a woman in this world. We're smart and we're intelligent and we're capable and we're emotional and we're unapologetic because of it if we allow ourselves to be, and I think those are all pretty amazing things.
The success of Morissette's U.S. debut was so huge, she actually thought about giving up music altogether. But Alanis returned in '98 with the wildly successful supposed former infatuation junkie. While performing at the Monterey Pop Festival in 1967, the artist at number 52 caught the eye of a young David Geffen. He was so impressed by her that he gave up his job as a music agent to become her manager.
She was a study in contradictions. The spiritual yet sensual Laura Nyro spent her career teetering on the brink between cult figure and full-blown star.
I'm not scared of dying, and I don't really care.
I loved Laura Nyro because she was so bent, you know, with her lyrics and melody lines.
And there was something magical about Laura Nyro and her presence, and the fact that she could just go on stage with the piano and sing the song and make you cry and feel it.
Tears you find in dying, when dying time is here.
Her innovative songwriting found its greatest success in the hands of Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Three Dog Night, and The Fifth Dimension.
Come on and marry me, come on and marry me, oh, do you marry me, Bill? Oh,
Nyro's distinctive phrasing and vocals have at long last earned her a place of her own in rock history.
Singing is only one of this next woman's talents. As an actress, vocalist, and comedian, she rose to fame with her Trash with Flash name tag.
She began her career in the early 70s, singing in bathhouses with Barry Manilow.
I had never, to this day, experienced anything quite like that.
With her high-voltage, raucous performances, it wasn't long before Bette Midler was selling out concert halls. In beaded dresses and mermaid suits, the divine Miss M went from campy cult figure to pop diva. Combining humor and soul, Bette established herself as a world-class singer and entertainer.
you are the wind beneath my wings. Some say love.
But it was her brilliant portrayal of Janis Joplin in The Rose that turned Bette into a true rock and roll voice.
I've always been envious of women who have that enormous lung power. Can sing the socks off anybody.
When she sang, when she spoke, when she moved, you just knew you were hearing the truth, and you just knew you weren't going to hear it from anybody else quite like this.
Lies the sea that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
We're halfway to the top of the list. The artist at number 50 was discovered by jazz great Billy Eckstine at an amateur contest in 1942. It wasn't long before she became known as the best thing that ever happened to Newark, New Jersey.
I don't know why, but I'm feeling so sad.
She had one of the most extraordinary voices of any singer in the 20th century.
I look for my hardest beating.
After winning a New York amateur contest, Sarah Vaughan put off her plans to become a hairdresser and instead became a name synonymous with jazz.
He smiled as he kissed his so bright. Was the sun.
She was a rare artist whose work was consistently brilliant and whose musical legacy may never be surpassed.
Sarah Vaughan is probably one of the world's greatest jazz vocalists, if not the greatest.
The day the fiesta started,
You know, Sarah Vaughan was probably my favorite. People used to pattern their voices after musical instruments. You know, people would want to sound like a trumpet. And she, to me, mastered doing that.
She's been compared to Janis Joplin and Rod Stewart, but this artist has a voice all her own.
I just happened to go to Melissa Etheridge concert, and it blew my mind.
Like the way I love you, she knows just how to shock you, electrify and rock you.
She's a hard rocker from the heartland.
Devil's got my
Kansas native Melissa Etheridge got her first guitar at age 8 and wrote her first song at age 10. With a raspy voice and passionate delivery, Melissa's songs tell of heartbreak and anguish that everyone can relate to.
Talk about being down to earth. I mean, she's just very straightforward and very at ease with herself.
I don't care what they think. I don't care what they say.
And Melissa has a way of bringing out the best in you and letting you be yourself, you know, which is the ultimate leader. You always have to be on your toes because she's never walking through it.
Share her voice. That's what rock and roll is.
This next woman grew up in Chicago and later became known as the Queen of the Harlem Blues. Her distinctive voice earned her riches seldom enjoyed by black artists of her era, enabling her to indulge in all the excesses of rock and roll.
What a difference a day makes.
She was one of the most versatile voices of popular music.
24 little hours.
Dinah Washington's salty and emotive voice was perfect for R&B, blues, pop, and jazz. She sang it all with a depth of emotion that made her the most popular singer of her time.
The sky was blue and high above. The moon was new.
With 7 husbands and a flavor for danger, she lived turbulently and died young, leaving behind a musical legacy for generations to admire.
Don't hurt anymore. All my teardrops are dry.
She had a way about her that was just so wonderful because she identified with her people's struggle and everything, and she identified and had great warmth about it, and she communicated in her songs. You could hear it.
Just to think it could be.
She was really on the front lines, being a woman and being a black woman. So for her to create beauty under those circumstances, I've learned to really appreciate her much, much more.
No, I don't hurt anymore.
She set the standard for what she wanted people to accept. And there's never been anybody like her since, and I doubt that there will be.
That I don't hurt anymore. Yes, it's a wonderful life. That I don't hurt anymore.
In her prime, Dinah lived her life draped in diamonds and furs. This next band is also known for their style, but their taste ran more towards miniskirts and go-go boots and big, big wigs.
They named themselves after the hairdos of their 2 singers, Kate Pearson and Cindy Wilson. 2 of the most eclectic women in pop music history.
Hey, I'm Kate, and I am a Taurus. I love tomatoes and black-capped chickadees. Hello, I'm Cindy, I'm a Pisces, and I like chihuahuas and Chinese noodles.
Pearson and Wilson reintroduced the notion of showmanship and excitement with their towering beehives and dance steps from a lost era.
Getting up to the static, getting up to the static, static in my attic from Channel V.
I love the B-52s. They're so much fun. I sort of like their very Jetson-like appearance and style, you know. And
Shack is a little place where we can get together.
Yeah, they were just out of place, but in place. And strange voices. I mean, totally sounds wacky. But somehow it worked.
But these are inherently artistic, interesting people. That's what keeps them around. I mean, they always have something interesting to say because they have interesting forces around them to pull from.
Combining quirky rhythms and cryptic lyrics, the B-52s were like a microcosm of the last 40 years of American pop culture.
Thank you! The artist at number 46 has been performing since she was 11 years old. When her talent caught the attention of Pink Floyd's guitarist David Gilmour, he financed the demo tape that earned her a record contract.
She's one of the most original and daring artists in the history of popular music. British native Kate Bush opened a door into the female imagination never before explored in song.
Kate is so exceptional because she just let her music speak for herself. Making all these amazing songs, making these brilliant little children, these gems.
I got her work and was really moved. And more than anything, I was moved by her as a producer.
I think Hounds of Love is like one of the most brilliant production jobs I've ever heard.
With her mystical lyrics and prodigious piano talents, Bush gave the industry a new idea about the power of feminine music.
I think just making music is kind of what's always driven me. As long as I can try and do it as well as I can at the time, that's what matters to me, I suppose, you know, just trying to do the best you can.
At 33 years old, our next artist had yet to find commercial success. That's when Clint Eastwood called and asked to use one of her songs in 1971's Play Misty for Me.
The first time
Roberta Flack is the embodiment of soul music, her voice both uplifting and powerful.
I thought the sun rose in your eyes,
Nobody had ever heard anybody quite like her when she came out.
and the moon.
So sensitive. Her intonation was amazing. Her phrasing was incredible and different.
He was strumming my bass with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with
It's a very moving experience to hear her sing because she sings from the heart.
She dominated the airwaves in the 70s like no other artist, with a string of smooth, sophisticated ballads.
The closer I get to you.
What inspires me to be a musician is that I don't know if I could be anything else. But one thing I know, I'm a good musician because God gave me that. And I say that with the most modesty I can muster because I'm so proud that he gave me music.
The artist at number 44 is the highest-ranking woman from the 90s in our countdown. As a singer, songwriter, and producer, she's quickly established herself as one of the smartest, sexiest musicians in rock and roll.
She paid her dues as a backup singer to stars like Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson until it was time to step out and become one herself. Sheryl Crow's straightforward songwriting lends an honest depiction of everyday life. With her whiskey voice and conversational lyrics, Crow is the perfect role model for the new age of women in rock, where talent, guts, and soul all come in one package.
Cheryl's great. She's a great singer. She's turned out to be a really cool writer. And she is a hard-working broad. She never stops working.
She's a good friend of mine, and I think she's really, really talented.
That makes you happy. It can't be that bad. If it makes you happy, then why the hell are you so sad?
I think Sheryl Crow is so fantastic. She's really maybe one of my very favorite artists. I mean, I'm constantly amazed by her.
Did you know when you go, it's the perfect ending to the bad day? I was just beginning. When you go, all I know is you're my favorite to
Sheryl swept the Grammys in 1994, taking home the awards for Record of the Year and Best New Artist. This next woman is the first of 2 Oscar winners to be featured in our special. But long before she was acting, this pop culture icon was a rock star.
The world just wouldn't be the same without her.
La-da-da-da-dee. La-da-da-da-da.
Sherilyn Sarkeesian began her career singing with her first husband, Sonny Bono.
I got you, babe.
Then she became one of the most fascinating personalities in rock. She combined outlandish costumes with her exotic looks and glamour with humor.
You know something, you don't know a good joke when you hear one.
No, but I know a good joke when I see one.
While her powerful voice seemed something she almost took for granted.
Half-breed, that's all I ever heard. Half-breed.
Cher's an original. Cher has a fabulous voice.
It was her voice that really turned me on. It was like the fact that she sang so low. Her voice, you could not mistake Cher's voice.
Take me home, take me home. Oh, can't you see I want you near? Take me.
Brimming with passion in her music and life, Cher always was and still is a trailblazer.
I just respect the fact that she's still going, you know, and that she's been through all the different phases and all the different styles, and that she can still have people be interested in her.
Do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say, I really don't think you're strong enough, no. Do you believe in life after love?
Cher recorded her first single under the name Bonnie Jo Mason. It was a Beatlemania record called Ringo, I Love You. In the mid-60s, when rock and roll was caught up in its psychedelic phase, a young woman came forth with the grace and dignity that music had seemingly forgotten.
She was the chosen voice of songwriting masters Burt Bacharach and Hal David.
If you see me walking down the street and I start to cry each time we meet, walk on by.
The collaboration resulted in some of the most enduring gems of popular music and made Dionne Warwick an icon of mid-60s elegance.
I hear the music coming out of your radio. Are you there with another girl instead of me?
The songs were so different than anything that was being recorded at that time. And we really carved a little musical niche out in the music world of our own. It was just beautiful, beautiful. The songs were beautiful, and they fit perfectly with her voice.
Her singing style combined extraordinary technique with emotional subtlety and paved the way for R&B divas of today.
The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you. Oh, I'll go and
She's wonderful. And what I really like is the intelligence you hear in her voice. Real intelligence.
Forever and ever, you stay in my heart, and I will love you forever and ever. We never will part. Oh, how I love you. Together, together, that's how it must be to live without you. But don't let me heartbreak for me.
The artist at number 41 has been called a sassy funkster, a space queen, and one of the most gifted voices in R&B history.
She metamorphosized from a girl group singer into one of the most outrageous and original performers of the disco era.
He met Mama Line down in old New Orleans, strutting hot stuff.
In the mid-70s, Patti LaBelle's innovative trio outdressed and outsang them all with their unique blend of funk, glam, and disco.
The first time they came out on stage, it was like, wow, this is unbelievable. An American black trio in glam rock.
As a solo artist, Patti continued her transformation, taking her operatic voice to the Broadway stage and back into the pop charts.
Patti has a very unique way of reinventing herself, which is wonderful. She has that kind of a personality that says, I can do anything I want to do, and she does. Her energy in her voice is just amazing. It's almost like too good to be true.
It's fine.